The current, there's a outgoing current or incoming current right now. The tide's incoming right now, so I'm having to pedal a little harder than normal. One of the things that you just missed, and I really feel sorry that you did, is I saw an osprey just catch a fish and was eating it up in the branches there and just took off. So maybe we'll see something interesting like that along our way again, but pretty cool stuff. So the rig I have today is sail or do whatever I want to without having to use the paddle. I'll turn around so you can see what it looks like. So it has, so we have a jet taking off from Fort Lauderdale International Airport right now, going overhead. So if you have a chance to make it down here to Fort Lauderdale, I highly recommend that you check out John Lloyd State Park and Whiskey Creek, and maybe I'll have an opportunity to go live once I get up to Whiskey Creek. I know some of you have taken your boats down there. My friend Eric, I think his family go there quite often, but I think they're out of town for the holidays. So beautiful day out today. We have people that are out sailing, nice light wind. We got a pretty big sailboat coming up here in just about a minute. We'll get a good look at that as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and pan a little bit for an idea what my view is today. I'm about 30 feet from shore right now. I see that Lena joined. Lena, I'm sorry to torture you like this, but that's one of the benefits of living here and not where you're at. So here comes a beautiful sailboat. The sailboat's going to try to cross over the Sterling Bridge, or under the Sterling Bridge, and it will have to wait for the bridge tender, or on the quarter of the hour we'll be able to automatically have that bridge raised for them, because this one's mast is definitely too high to take it underneath that bridge. So even though the tide is coming in, I'm still able to make pretty good time with this pedal system. Some of the trees you're seeing on the bank over here are our mangrove trees. The mangrove trees are really important here to the water system in South Florida. They purify a lot of the water and take contaminants out of the water for us. It's illegal to cut mangroves or to tie creek, so maybe we'll be lucky and see a manatee as well. See that Fort Lauderdale Intercoastal towards the port of Fort Lauderdale. But before we get there, we're going to make a right-hand turn and head towards the ocean and cut back down towards Dania Beach. And the cut that we're going to take is going to be down an area called Whiskey Creek. And I probably can't see it, but that just about to Port Everglades, which is in Fort Lauderdale. And you can probably see the cranes over there to the left of the video. That's where they load all the cruise ships up and the other seagoing vessels with the reefer containers. And you might be able to see some of the cruise ships way off in the port. But quite a beautiful day today. Like I said, it's about 73, 74 degrees. The water feels like it's maybe 8-10 degrees warmer than that. We had a very cloudy morning here in South Florida, but the sun came out and burned off the clouds. I don't know if you can see some of the root systems over there, or the trees that have washed up on the bank. Really very beautiful pieces of wood. And of course, We have our year-round manatee slow speed, no wake zone. You can probably see the wake that's occurring right there on those pylons. That's what I'm fighting against right now. But all in all, beautiful day, not too difficult to paddle. Although I'm not using the paddle right now because I'm broadcasting. I'm going to see if I can't go over a little bit closer so you can get a nice look at this tree stump. There are quite a few artisans down here in South Florida. They're able to use those tree stumps and turn them into some pretty fabulous furniture. Hopefully you're getting a chance to see how clear the water is today. A little bit odd for us today because normally this time of year we have pretty rough seas and very strong winds. We have a nice breeze out of the north today, but the seas are actually very calm. So I'm going to flip this around a little bit, see if I can get kind of an over-shoulder shot so you can see kind of where we've been. We've made a pretty good time. Starting to see some a little bit shallower water here. Some beautiful colors in the water too. Let me turn that back around so you can see that. It's really nice. There you go. Got my fishing rig here. Hopefully I'll take some time in Whiskey Creek to make a few casts. Maybe might find a snook or two. And there we go. We had a big bust of fish occur right over the left-hand side. Might have been a tarpon chasing some mullet, and they're still bubbling up on the water. I don't know if you can see that, starting to head this way. That's a big, well, I say chased by a tarpon or barracuda. Hopefully it's not a shark. And it looks like it's headed this way. Headed a little bit north. Hopefully they'll get spooked and jump, and you'll get a chance to see what a school of about 150 mullet look like. If I can get up in the middle of them, I'll be able to show you them in the water because they stay very close to the top of the water, especially while they're feeding. Looks like Raquel joined us today. Oh, there they are. There's some of the mullet. I'm not sure how much you're able to see, but there they are. Okay, huge school of mullet, maybe 350, 400 of them out here in the Intercoastal. Let's see if we can see some of them come to the top. There they go. All right. Nice. You know what, I was mistaken. That's not 300, 400. There's actually probably 1,000 underneath me right now. And here we go. We have one of the little tugs that's coming down the Intercoastal here. That's actually a trawler. Trawlers are kind of the workhorse of our industry down here in South Florida. That trawler is moving about as fast as it can go, because they can do about 12, 14 knots. And that happens to be a water taxi. Doesn't look like he has anyone on there today. And we're getting pretty close to my cutoff point up here, which is Whiskey Creek. That was a lot of fun seeing those mullet. Some of them were actually quite large. I have a nice size double-hulled boat coming up here, and I've got a few waves coming in my way too. That double-hull makes it for a very stable boating experience. Even when the waves are really rough, it's very smooth on those vessels. It's really nice to have that kind of pull. So we got a lot of cruise ships in the port today, and they will be heading out either later today, I think probably around 4 or 5 o'clock this evening. If you're in South Florida or visiting South Florida, if you go to Dania Beach Pier around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a beautiful time because you get to see the cruise ships come out of the port. Most of them make an immediate right-hand turn once they get out close to international waters and start heading south, either to go to Key West or down to the out to the Bahamas or on into the Caribbean. And it makes for a wonderful opportunity to take photographs with these huge cruise ships in the background, so you can get a nice, beautiful sunset photograph with you and your family with a cruise ship in the background. Beautiful lighting. You're welcome, Lena. I wish you were here. Bring the kids. So for those of you that do kayak but don't kayak very often, most days I would not take this out into the intercoastal like this, especially on a weekend day. Number one, the currents in the intercoastal, both incoming and outgoing tide, is really very strong. So if you're going against the current, it's quite a workout. But not so much that. Occasionally we have folks that have jet skis and other things, and they really don't pay attention to what's in front of them when they're bobbing up and down, flying 40-50 miles an hour, and it just happens to be a little bit dangerous. If you are going to come out here, I'd recommend staying within 30 feet of the shore, where it's too shallow for those vessels to come up on you. You're still far enough away from the shore where you get a good scene and a nice workout, but it also protects you from other vessels. So over to my right hand side is one of the main roads and thoroughfares into John Lloyd State Park. It's a beautiful state park with a nice beach. Has it up just a little bit here. And off to my left hand side you can see some of the multiple colored reefer containers there that get loaded onto the cruise ships and the other ocean going vessels. And then just beyond that you see the big cruise ships that are getting ready to go out this evening. I would say the water that I'm in right now is probably 8-10 feet. Pretty shallow. Most of the time I can see the bottom. Make it out, but that's another one of the trees that's pretty popular here in South Florida and grows naturally along the coastal areas, is the sea grape tree. One of the unique characteristics of the mangrove tree that makes them so important for our ecology here in South Florida are those tentacles, those fingers that poke out into the water. They have a seed pod that looks like a little thin cigar that drops off into the water, and floats to its next destination, and as soon as it takes hold, it starts to sprout those little fingers, and those are, and certain beekeepers here in South Florida actually harvest bees that collect their pollen from and the nectar from those mangrove trees. And I have to tell you that mangrove honey, black mangrove honey, is probably among the best honey I've ever tasted. It almost tastes like butter. Coming up to the entrance, if you can see the jetty up there of my turnoff, and that will take me into an area called Whiskey Creek. If anyone's joining us at this point, probably see the signs over here. The green sign is a channel marker that tells those people navigating boats where they're located, but also which side of the marker they're supposed to stay on. And then the manatee zone that says no wake is so that we can protect our manatees that are pretty prolific in these waters, although we haven't seen any today. So back in that cod and crab restaurant that's located on the Dania Beach Cutoff Canal. I think it's the Rustic Inn. They have really amazing crabs there. Both stone crabs and Dungeness crabs and blue crabs. So I'm going to pan over to the right now, seawall. That is how far we are into the low tide. So if you see the light color part of the rock, at high tide, you're going to notice that the water is all the way up there, probably another 2.5, 3 feet higher at this point. And here comes another sailboat coming down the Intercoastal. Much smaller mast than the one we saw earlier. So I see that Terry just joined us. Just want to say hello and let everyone know that I'm on the Intercoastal Waterway. And I'm going to quit talking now because I'm going to see if I can't sneak up on this large blue herring that's over here straight in front of me. He's about 2.5, 3 foot tall. Looks like he's kind of chilling out, and if I quit talking right now, I'll probably be able to paddle up right on him. able to see that. I know it's probably a small shot, but we'll get a chance to be a little closer to him in a second. So sometimes we call those birds egrets, sometimes we call them herons. The one that's my favorite is the snowy egret. You'll note the snowy egret, we haven't seen one today, but they're all white. Beautiful birds. Although these blue herons are magnificent also. There we go. That's beautiful. Like we have a few other people that have joined us. I'm on the Intercoastal waterway in Fort Lauderdale, heading up from Dania Beach up to the Intercoastal waterway here. I'm going to be cutting in through Whiskey Creek. And it was such a beautiful morning, I decided to take the Intercoastal instead of going north and coming back all in one shot down Whiskey Creek. So the entire trip today, really, if I was paddling hard or pedaling hard, would take me about an hour. I'm taking it a little bit slow today because it's such a beautiful day out here, and I know some of you are getting locked into pretty bad weather up there and might actually enjoy a little bit of South Florida sunshine in the water. I don't know if you can see him yet or not, but there's our blue herring again. What a magnificent bird. He's healthy. The third time we've passed him, so he's getting a little more comfortable with us now. This is probably as close as I've been able to get to him. So it looks like I've got about 2.5 minutes left on this live session. What I'll probably do is let this session time out, and once I get started down Whiskey Creek, maybe I'll tap back in and do a quick little video of showing what that beautiful path looks like for those of you out there that are paddlers. Thanks, Kathleen. And the really fun part about it is that these videos, you can like them if there's something you're seeing, or you can ask questions along the way, and I should be able to see it no problem. So some of you might be asking, well, how are you able to do this? Well, if you go under your status, most of you now have a new little button all the way to the right hand side of all the little icons down there that allows you to live stream or live cast. You hit that button there, it asks for a couple permissions about accessing your camera, etc. And then it will give you a countdown, and then you can use your smartphone or your computer or whatever device you have, a tablet, and it will allow you to also create these types of live casts. So it looks like I've got the 1 minute warning here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a minute to log off, and probably we'll start back up in about 10 minutes once I get into Whiskey Creek. and give you a chance to see how beautiful. I'm here in beautiful Fort Lauderdale on January 3rd, and I'm in the Intercoastal waterways, very close to the Port Everglades, and I hope that you've enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed seeing the fish and the egret, and we will see you soon.